Identify the big talkers and the storytellers in your organization and make sure that you're feeding them little pieces of special information, because they have something to talk about. And I know for this woman, you have to do it in the morning because she forgets overnight. She'll talk about somebody else tomorrow. She's a little unusual. Anyway. So I try to have breakfast with Joanne every once in a while. So annual survey, we do an annual survey of our members, and we've been doing that for years, and for 3 years. And we try to ask consistent questions so that we can start to identify patterns and changes in what our members are thinking and wanting. So, I mean, I'm happy to share a copy of our survey. We use a platform called Typeform, which is really easy, even easy enough for me to log in and check, the answers. But we ask how long they've been members, what motivates them to be a member, are they likely to renew, are they likely to recommend membership to any of their friends, what is the value of do they feel they're getting value out of their membership. So we have maybe 18 or 20 questions. What kind of topics do they like to have at events? And we really use that, and we use that information in our membership program, we use it in our marketing program, we give it to the programming committee, we spend a lot of time going through that information with the board because it's a lot of great data. So, and again, I'm happy, it's taken us a while to perfect the questions. I'm happy to share them with you. I'll bring my cards down later, or Bill, you can find me through the WACA. Tactic number seven is fulfillment and customer service. We treat people like customers. So if you ordered something from LL Bean and you didn't get it or you didn't like it, you would go back to LL Bean and say, this was the wrong size or the wrong color, or I decided I don't want it after all. And you would get handled really carefully because LL Bean has got a customer service culture. I mean, and it could be any of these companies that do. But so we try to make sure if somebody joins, we get something in the mail to them right away. We know who you are. We care about you. We value the fact that you've shown up in our organization. You send us $100, and here's your fulfillment packet. And we do that in paper because we want them to have something to touch and hang on to that belongs to us. We take credit cards. I think maybe all of you do, but maybe you don't. Credit cards make it really easy. We'll offer to take people's credit cards on the phone because some people are more comfortable with that than typing it into a form. So if somebody seems a little hesitant, we'll say, well, just give me your credit card. We can take that over the phone, and we do that. And we remind them from time to time what their benefits are. Hey, did you know you get publications discounts with your membership? And sometimes people forget, and they go, wow, oh, get rats. I just renewed my Economist subscription, and I didn't know. I wish I'd known that. So next year you do. So we want them to use those benefits because they're more likely to jump in that bowl of sticky rice. Free memberships. If you're new in town, I meet you somewhere, you did me a favor, here's a free membership. I give away memberships like candy. It doesn't hardly cost me anything, and maybe they'll renew next year if they like what they see. So, and my staff is deputized to do the same thing. Just, it expands your numbers, and that always helps. The ninth thing is special opportunities, things that are members-only events. So we do a couple events a year that are members-only. These free parties we do are members-only. Our travel program, which we just started, we did 2 trips to Iran this year, and that was for members only. And we're expanding our travel program. I hope nobody's here from Philadelphia. You'll shoot me. But we want our bowl of sticky rice to go out there together in the world and expand those connections. So that's why we're doing the travel program. But it's for members only. So you have to be a member. The trip that we did to Iran, we kept it to the highest level membership. So you had to be a $1,000 member to go to Iran. You from Philadelphia? I know you're not.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I'm with the FBI. What would be, did you already say the average age of your membership if you were to ballpark it?
What?
The average age of your membership?
Through the survey, we learned that we are spread throughout the cohort. So in our survey, we say, are you 21 to 30? Are you 31 to 40? Are you 41? And the highest one, I think, is 70 plus. We're pretty much even. I mean, if you put that on a bar graph, there's a little dip in the middle where people have teenagers. Yeah, right.
That's me.
But otherwise, it's, we've grown to be pretty much a solid, a block, which has been a goal of ours to get there.
Yeah, that's impressive. We're finding, at least in Columbus, Ohio, that the younger folks aren't as interested in quote-unquote membership. So we're having to redefine what it means to be involved. That's why I ask.
Okay.
Thank you, though.
And we can talk. I want to make sure the ambassador has enough time to talk. But we'll take Q&A at the end. So special opportunities is tactic number 9. And tactic number 10 is something we hear all the time, I think, in fundraising, which is that you thank and acknowledge your members. We do it, in our newsletter. We do it at events. We do it in person. If somebody joins, we have membership levels that kind of jump up. At some minimum, at the $250 level, you get a handwritten note from me when you join. Welcome to Premier Membership in World Denver. We're really glad to have you on board. And I enclose my business card. Feel free to call me at any time. So it's a personal kind of connection that we try to make with those folks. So that's number 10. Now, if Dixie were here, she would say number 11 tactic is to use the national programs to expand your membership. The cover to cover, the hot topics calls, academic world quest. There are programs that, in particular, I think Dixie's been able to use very effectively. Those lunchtime phone calls, you can sit there and eat your tuna sandwich and, put the phone on speaker and mute and without ever leaving your desk or your dining room table, you can have an interesting. And she has been able to really parlay that into membership. So I think on Dixie's behalf, I would add that as number 11 tactic. So why don't we give Ambassador Shapiro a chance at the microphone, and then we'll have some Q&A at the end.
Good, thanks. Thanks, Karen. I'm Charles Shapiro, and I'm the president of World Affairs Council Atlanta. And I've been there for 14 months, so it's not like I've got this wealth of experience in World Affairs councils, and I'm sure all of y'all are doing many of the same things that we're doing, and I inherited a lot of the things that we're doing. It's not that I came in and figured out how to do this differently. Karen asked me to talk about growth, diversity, and wholesale membership sales, which is something that we've been doing that y'all might want to consider. First of all, just one note is that we're physically located in the business school at Georgia State University in Atlanta, and I think we may be the only World Affairs Council, Bill can correct me, that's actually associated with a business school, and so that gives us a little bit different orientation than many of you have. So let me start off. Does anybody here speak Spanish? My favorite saying in Spanish is "El no ya lo tienes," right? You've already got no for an answer, and unless you ask somebody. And so that's key to business, and all of us are in business. It's a nonprofit business, but it's a business, right? And I can't tell you, actually I can tell you because all of you know, I mean, how much you have to tell your staff. You got to ask people. You got to ask them to join. If you don't ask them to join, they're not going to join. When you have a program, you got to start the program off by asking people to join. I have to, we use a lot of interns, I'm sure all of you do. I mean, I actually did a training session with my interns who are handing out the name tags that when somebody comes in, if they're not, you have to look them in the eye, honest to God, and say, hey, you're not a member, would you like to join? And you've got to say it like you mean it. And people will, but you've got to ask. Once you get them as members, you've got to ask them to increase their membership, right? You've got to ask, no, ya lo tienes, right? You got to get them beyond the no. You're already at no. If you don't ask, you stay at no. So that's pretty cool. The second thing, and I learned this from the dean of the business school at San Diego, University of California, San Diego, where I was for the last 3 years, is that there's no business sitting around with a huge pot of money just trying to give the money away. You have to convince them that there's return on investment for them. For some of them, just being associated with World Denver is enough. But for others, they want more. And you've got to find out what the return on investment is and what it is that they want. So the way that we look at it, and I'm sure all of y'all do exactly the same thing, is that the three parts of the World Affairs Council are connected to each other. One is your programming, right? You got to put on good programs. If you don't put on good programs, people aren't going to show up. Membership comes from good programs, but you have to have the programs the members want, right? So there's a feedback there. And then the corporate underwriting for the programs is the other key part. And so you've got to get the corporate underwriting, the individual and corporate membership, and the programming, and those three things overlap, are tied together, and with a constant feedback loop. And that actually feeds right into diversity. For us, the easiest, we've got an advantage on diversity over some of you because we're in a real diverse city, and that helps. Right? If you're in a city that's not diverse, it's pretty hard to get the diversity. But I've got people who will come to a program on India, but nothing else. I've got people who come to a program on China, but nothing else. People who will come to a program on Africa, but nothing else. So it means to keep my membership diverse and to attract more diverse members, I've got to have programming from around the world. And that also means people will complain. There's this core of people who have a hard time thinking much beyond Europe and will complain, well, why are we doing all these Africa programs? Well, because there are people interested in Africa programs. Got to get them in. I had the ambassador of South Africa to the United States, and we were sold out with an extraordinarily diverse group of people there to hear the South African ambassador. And we got we must have over 30 binational chambers of commerce in Atlanta, and so we partnered with the U.S. South Africa Chamber of Commerce, had this fabulous choir came in and sang the South African national anthem. And it was a terrific program. That's how you build diversity. You have diverse programs, and we got a South African restaurant to cater the food. So it was terrific. Finally, one of the things that we've done on wholesale sales is we've got 3 different business schools that they're entering class. All their students are members of the World Affairs Council at $50 each, and so we get the money transferred from the school. They're members we would not have had otherwise, right?
I wish I thought that.
I wish I thought of it. It's somebody else's idea, not mine. And it's terrific. So 350 of our members are executive MBA students from business schools, 3 different business schools in the Atlanta area. And then you've got the challenge of how do you get them to show up, right? They're in school, they're busy, they're doing other things, but to get them to show up for the program, because just like you were saying, once you get those people, then you want them when they go back, when they leave and they have their MBA, to stay with your program, to up their membership, to become major supporters, and then to remember you in their will, right? By setting up a trust. So you got to get them all along at every point. We haven't gotten to the trust side yet. Although I did get a member this year, a new member who was 95. So he was our oldest new member, and very, very proud of it. I spoke at a retirement home, and this gentleman joined. So it was a great deal. He's a World War II vet and a motivational speaker. And wow. And he's terrific, and he's joined. And I'm going to stop there, because everything that we're doing is stuff that y'all do, that all of you do. But you've got to work at it all the time, and you've got to remind your staff constantly. And then finally, one last, I have to just say, is we've stopped having events. We only have programs, okay? And because today is Veterans Day, there's it's the Veterans Day sales event at Smith Ford, I mean, it's like everybody's got the weatherman. We're going to have a rain event tomorrow night. And so since everything has become an event, we've stopped having events. We only have programs, because we wanted to know that we have serious programs, interesting programs, and they're not just events. I'm going to stop. If y'all have questions, I'll be delighted to answer. Yes?
I have another question.
Good.
I want to go back to what you were saying about your annual renewal. I want to go back to what you were saying about annual renewal. Is your renewal for membership once a year, or is it continuous?
It's rolling.
It is rolling.
Yep. On the anniversary of your joining. I don't know about you.
Yeah, ours is too. And what we've started is sending out a reminder ahead of time. And if you renew now, we'll add a month on free.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. And then secondarily, can you talk a little bit about your member benefits at your different rates?
Sure. Well, we start out, our YP rate is $35. Your young professional rate is $35. We try to keep our whole YP program has been through various evolutions, but we think we've got it right for Denver right now, which is we set up a board, a YP board, and so they have their own. They do their own programming. They're invited to come to ours. They have a special rate at our programs, which is $5 less than everybody else pays. So they pay $15 to come to one of the main, the main programs. And then they kind of arrange their own events however they do. They'll do networking things at bars, and they'll find free places to go. And we have a corporate, Molson Coors is a corporate member, and we get they back up trucks full of beer for everything we do. I've learned, beer is cheap, marketing beer is expensive, right? We get more beer than we know what to do with. And it's all donated. Yeah, come on out. It's all Coors, but come on out. So anyway, that's the $35. And then we have a $100 member, which is this kind of standard, the regular membership, which is for 2 people. And even if you're one person, you still pay $100, because we just don't want to deal with anything below $100. And we let people bring a friend, so you can name a friend, so 2 people could buy a membership together and pretend they're a couple, and we don't mind whatever. You can give me one name or give me 2 names, but it's $100. And then the next level is, and that is kind of our standard thing. You get access to the discounts at our programs. You get access to the publication discounts. You're eligible for all the member-only activities, unless they're really high level. And then there's a level of Premier, which is $250. And those people, in addition to everything else, they get access to breakfast briefings that we do. Law firms host speakers downtown, and we try to make them a little more business-oriented and exclusive. So we'll fill up a conference room with a speaker that we don't think is quite up at the level of our main programs, but is somebody interesting, or somebody coming through town, or the editor of the newspaper, or something like that. So that level, they get access to that, and then it jumps to 1,000, which is our patron level, and they get access to everything. And then we also have special events specifically for them. So, for example, we learned that there's a former CIA agent who writes mystery novels. And she had written a book about Tehran, and it was set in Tehran. So we were rolling out our Iran program for a travel program for the Founders Circle, and we had a private dinner with Iranian food for our Founders Circle. They all signed up for the trip. They got to meet Francine. They bought these books. And so it would be something like that where it's just, you just can't, it's just really special. Okay.
We've got, I'm trying to think, I can't remember all our membership levels, but we've got it's called our Young Leaders Program, same thing. They've got a board, they set up their own programs. They need a lot of help, however. So the idea that it doesn't require any staff time is, at least for us, has turned out not to be true. They require staff time, particularly on the marketing side of it, to get it out, to get their own members to show up. We've got a members forum with a separate planning steering committee that sets up members only briefings the first Tuesday of the month. And it's the place where you really can get into an argument, where we'll have a speaker who'll come for 10 minutes, set up an issue that the speaker is expert on, and then the conversation is back and forth among the members. Because I found, I don't know if you run into this, that at the lunches and evening programs, that a lot of times our members or the people who come up afterwards. I wanted to ask so-and-so, but I thought it would be impolite, right? And so, which seems pretty amazing to me that people are worried about being impolite. But anyhow, this gives them a chance where they really can talk. And then for our highest level members, we have a chairman's circle breakfast once a quarter with the CEO of a company. So we've got one coming up in January with the CEO of UPS. So you go to UPS, you're in the C-suite of UPS with his chef making breakfast for everybody and sitting around talking, how does UPS see the world in 2016? Where's the economy going? And people will actually upgrade their memberships to get invited to that. We also, if we have a really terrific speaker or program, we will have what's called a round table for the hour before it begins, with just our high-level members sitting around a board table discussing with the speaker informally but in greater depth what's going on, and that's for our $1,000 members and up. And that's been really successful, and people like that. Yeah.
I should be able to know how to use the microphone by now. Question for you. You were channeling in Dixie about using our national office and our national offerings for our memberships, and then you talked about these 2 trips to Iran, which of course I would want to go on one. And it made me think that, have you ever thought about somehow offering or getting the word out to others about trips so that smaller councils like ours could offer that to their memberships? I know Houston does 10 to 12 travel programs a year, and you mentioned just 2, and I was thinking, boy, if we could offer that to our folks without a lot of staff time, they would find that as a benefit, and you'd probably find that as a benefit too, right, channeling some of our folks over on your trips. Yeah,
I mean, our main purpose in offering these trips is our sticky, to make our bowl of sticky rice more sticky and bigger. So including a lot of people from the rest of the country wouldn't really achieve that objective for us. But honestly, Philadelphia is already in that business. So we didn't set out to compete with Philadelphia. So I guess we're not there yet. We do invite like our neighborhood. So there's a council in Santa Fe. 2 members went to Iran with us. Then the people in another part of Colorado heard that the Santa Fe people got word out, and now they're complaining that they weren't invited. They want to be invited the next time. We're going to Iran again, by the way, and then so word sort of leaks out. But right now we're trying to make it kind of a neighborhood project. Sorry, but Philadelphia goes.
I'll be delighted to have you come with me. We got 2 trips to Cuba coming up, one in December, and then that is, all included, all in, pretty expensive, and we've got more budget-minded trip to Cuba in January, and we would be delighted for any of you and any of your members to come, and we can even work a deal where you can make money off sending people with us. I mean, we would love to do that. It's, I've had people from California go with me to Cuba in April of this year. It's a great trip and it's a lot of fun. And the other advantage, and I'm sure Karen can talk about that, is it's a little bit like summer camp. I mean, once you've been traveling with people for a week, they are so bonded to your organization and you to them. I mean, it is a great way to build your relationship with them, not just on the topic of that program, but for everything else as well. I mean, and then they want to upgrade their membership. Not all of them, but some of them do. Or they end up coming to more programs than they would have otherwise because you've been traveling with them for a week.
I'd like to add a different perspective on that question. Kay Maxwell, World Affairs Forum in Stamford. Since there is Philadelphia here at the moment, although they are expected, and I've traveled on a number of their programs and have been the host. And I just want to put in a plug that says this is a national program that they do for World Affairs Councils around the country with trips to Iran, Cuba, etc. So just, as I say, I know Joan Russell is going to be here later, but just those of you who aren't aware, they do a range of trips around the world, and any World Affairs Council around the country can be a part of it. So while I understand individual councils being interested, there is a downside to it in terms of taking away from the national program that Philadelphia runs.
Do they have a monopoly on that?
Pardon me?
I'm sorry, I'm being smart.
No, I didn't hear you.
I mean, I'm delighted that Philadelphia is doing it and they're doing their programs. That's great, but I don't think that precludes.
No, I'm just saying it is a
so.
national program for all World Affairs Councils. So just those who may not be aware, just information.
Yeah, question right here.
Two questions. Michelle, could you give us an idea of what resources your council spent on membership from 2012 to the present, both volunteer and staff? And question for both of you, could you estimate the percentage of people who come to your events or programs, as the case may be, that are non-members?
Karen,
Yeah.
excuse me, before answering,
Yep.
could you introduce yourself and council, because
Yeah, that's good.
here knows each other?
Yep.
What are the things that we want to accomplish?
George Callahan, the Santa Fe Council on International Relations.
Okay. Hello, neighbor. I'd say about overall 70% are members and maybe 30% are not members who attend our programs. That would be a rough guess, but I think that's probably pretty good. So we're working on that 30%. In terms of what we spend, we had kind of an intensive amount of just temporary staff doing the database transition and getting out information about the renewals right at the beginning. And maybe I spent $20,000 at the get-go doing that. And now we have a full-time development person, and membership is part of her job. So she does corporate memberships, she does fundraising events, she does memberships, and she staffs the development committee of the board, which is active. So that is a full-time job.
I would guess that for our lunch programs, probably 25% are members and 75% are not members. We did a program last month on Korea, together with the Consulate General of Korea, and we had a whole bunch of people show up who are not our members, which is great, and that's what we want, because then that gives us leads to develop membership. On evening programs, it's probably 40% members, 60% non-members. Again, we're delighted to have that. I've got a young woman who is our membership manager who is keeping track of all of that and keeping in touch with people, sending out the letters, and also works on corporate membership as well. She's not a trained development officer, but she's doing a pretty good job for a woman who was a waitress a year ago.
Karen, Mimi Gregory from the Naples, Florida Council, and I want to just put in a word. When I listen to all of you with your development managers and your membership managers, we are, and Donna Sudeth, our president, sitting here, the only all-volunteer council in the system, of which we are terribly proud. We have 20, oh, you are as well, okay. We have 2,200 members and a waiting list. What I'd like to know is whether you are taking advantage of the Great Decisions program, which is a very important thing to offer to your membership, and another way really to bring in new members by offering a program where one of your members can go and speak at a library, at a corporate lunchroom, and begin to use that as a way to bring in new members. Of our membership, we have about 650 of our members that participate in Great Decisions, which shows you that it's an extremely popular and great way to offer something to your membership in general.
We do not. It's on my list, but we don't do Great Decisions in Denver. I know there are a lot of existing groups that do. I mean, there are a lot of book clubs around that do, but we haven't integrated that into our programming yet.
Nor do we. There's other organizations in Atlanta who use Great Decisions. We're only 5 years old, so a lot of the things have already been taken up by other organizations. I would love to figure out how to do that, but I don't want to step on their toes.
Hi, this is Davis from the Council of Harrisburg, and we also have been Great Decisions as to bring in membership. What we're going to do with the next round is offer Great Decisions participation free of charge with membership. And that's been a successful model. We've done Hot Topics teas. You can come to the first Hot Topic tea free of charge with membership or renewal of your membership, and then you end up coming to all of our other programs. So that's a great way to at least pull people in.
There are questions over here on this side. Hey, go back.
Good morning, Mac Pogue from Peoria Area World Affairs Council. One of our biggest challenges is just to get the word out who we are. And I think a lot of folks are confused a little bit by the council. What do you guys do? Do you guys do things? And, you know, we like to just say that we have really good speakers come in to town and we have a good discussion with them. But what is your strategy for getting the word out? And I know, you know, we have news articles about what we do, just a lot of different things, but what are your thoughts?
First of all, we're trying to use social media better. I won't say we're successful at that, but we've got an intern whose job it is to keep our Facebook page updated, to retweet my tweets, and I would hope, you know, I hope everybody here is tweeting today. So our local newspapers have zero interest. If it's not local news, they don't care. So, I mean, that's a real challenge. Actually, we've had better luck with CNN than we have with the local TV stations. That said, we got $1 million of great free publicity because we took the mayor of Atlanta to Cuba. And so a TV station and the newspaper went along because the mayor went. And so now when I go someplace, oh, you are the people, you know, that. So that's been really, really helpful.
Yeah, we have no luck with local media. We're trying, there are these little neighborhood hubs papers. We're trying some of those in the neighborhoods where we have a lot of saturation, you know, so that our members are reading about us in their little local rag. So we're just starting that, so I don't know how that's going to work out. But the Denver Post, we lost a daily a couple years ago, so we only have one now, and they have no interest. We do social media a lot. Our young professionals really love that, and so they've kind of taken that on. We also have an intern who does nothing but social media all the time. And then we email, and in our surveys, we ask people how they want to get their information, and they've told us they like emails, and that we are sending the right number of emails. So that's what that's what we do, because that's what they tell us they like. We try to keep it to 2 emails a week. one would be maybe a program announcement, and one might be a begathon or something. We have a begathon coming up.
Chetna Baskota from the World Affairs Council of Houston. You talked about lowering the number of programs. We're having a really hard time deciding on a happy medium. What has worked for you, like monthly, how many programs and luncheons and evening general programs?
Well, overall, we do in excess of 50 programs a year, but that's counting, all the young professional, networking things, all of the special receptions for international visitors, a holiday party for our upper level members. So it counts absolutely everything, and the number's around 50. We try to keep our, what we call main stage programs to sort of 10 or 12 a year. So we're about one a month. And then if somebody's in town that's really interesting, we'll find a way to accommodate them, and we might add an extra program, main stage program. And then we have this, we try to do the breakfast briefings for the corporate people and that kind of thing. So, yeah, it works out to about one a week, but that's not where we start. We start lower, and they just come.
Yeah, I'd say ours is about the same. We have 2 major speaker programs per month on average, but then lots of other programs around that. And with the staff we've got now, that's really about the most that we can manage. But that said, we got a huge metro area. So I'm not worried yet about cannibalizing our own programs. I think if we had the staff, we could put on more. But the key to that is not putting them on in the same place. We're like Houston. Wherever you put it on, it's inconvenient for somebody, right? They can't get. Actually, it's inconvenient for about 80% of the population. The traffic's too bad; they can't get there. And the challenge for us, for everybody, is once somebody can register for a program, but once they go home from work and take their shoes off, getting them back out the door is a huge, huge challenge. If you put on a lunch program, if it's downtown, the people whose offices are uptown aren't going to go downtown. If it's uptown, the people downtown aren't coming. So, if we could rotate around town, we could put on more programs.
Yeah, venue's a big problem, but Houston is terrific. I've learned so much from you guys. Everybody, watch Houston.
I'm Joan Apple-Lemoyne with the Hilton Head, South Carolina World Affairs Council, and I'm the last comment, I was just told. I've got a suggestion. We realize a lot of our members are what we call come-heres. Nobody has been in Hilton Head for any period of time. So that people who we know will spread the word of mouth, which is most effective, are the realtors. So we had breakfasts this summer, 2 breakfasts for realtors, and we did a briefing for them. We said, we know not everybody comes to Hilton Head to play tennis or golf. Some people come here for other reasons. One of them is the cultural environment, and we are key to that. So we used the database of those realtors who had won the 2014 Community Service Award for the Realtor Association of Hilton Head. So that was about 100 people. We invited them to 2 breakfasts. We had about 15 who attended, and we have had wonderful results from that. Several of them joined, and they have included information about our World Affairs Council in their blogs. So it was the best $300 that we spent in getting word of mouth out to newcomers to Hilton Head, and of course the realtors also work with people who are relocating within Hilton Head. So it was just a brilliant stroke on it. It was free to them, yes. We invited them for breakfast at one of the local country clubs, and we said we're only going to take an hour and a half of your time, and we gave them a briefing on our council, and we gave them a membership profile because they know who their customers are, we know who our customers are, and our customers fit within their customers. So it was a very successful initiative on our part.
Hi, we're going to close the panel with one final question and a comment from me.
Hello, everybody. My name is Tim Williams. I am a scholarship recipient from Alaska. So I just wanted to make some quick comments and maybe some suggestions on this, on what I'm hearing today. And I am a new member. I just became a member this fall. And I received a notification from Alyssa about the scholarship opportunity. And I think one of the main framing from what I hear, I like to pay attention to words and vocabulary, and the framing of what the goal is for this specific session is expansion, retention, and of course there's a target audience. We want to reach younger kids or a younger demographic. And because I had received the wonderful opportunity to travel from Alaska to DC, it's like a guaranteed lifetime membership right there. I could give you. No, what do young kids like? They like to travel? And what am I doing? I'm traveling right now. And in terms of retention, a suggestion is having a 1 year goal, a 1 year. You've been a member for 1 year. Here's what we're going to offer you. Here's the perks. You've been a member for 3 years. I don't know, even odd numbers are appealing for some. Yeah, so you become a member for 3 years. Here's what we're going to offer you. It's incremental. So I'd recommend retention rates. If you want to retain members, you got to, as you said, it's a business profit. And I think having retention rewards for a return in members for X amount of years, I think that would be a great opportunity. And also as a young person, traveling is very attractive. The moment young kids realize that, the moment, okay, what am I trying to say here? The moment the Alaska World Affairs Council, the World Affairs Council of America, the moment kids, or not kids, but of course, millennials, I guess is the new term, the moment millennials talk about how World Affairs Council benefits them, my younger, traveling, we do love traveling, graduation schools, a lot of you are professors from your respective institutions and colleges, so that's pretty key. And those are things that are on my mind. So I guess offering traveling opportunities. We're a national organization, and I think traveling from Alaska to DC to Denver and having little traveling opportunities would be amazing. And also the networking. Millennials are concerned about the future and about jobs and about attending respectable institutions, and I think the moment people have that tangible, the moment people have realized that there's tangible benefits to becoming a member for X amount of years, then that's when we will meet these goals. Thank you. Those are my suggestions. Thank you.
There's no doubt that access to leaders and mentoring is a good part of what we can do to expand that. Thank you very much for that. I just want to make 2 quick comments. We're going to break for 5 minutes. Patrick Terrian and Xiaoyin Zhou will be setting up for the next panel on global education task force initiatives. One point is for you, we do monthly conference calls, and the cover-to-cover author series is pretty well attended month in and month out. This is for you to help identify future speakers, but it's also a free event that those of you who want to engage new people, if you are able to forward our constant contact messages or create messages of your own, this should be an added thing that you leave to us to do. It's not that hard to schedule these authors, and many of them have gone on to travel to visit you. So I encourage you to put that in your member benefit file and let us know if there are other calls that we can do to strengthen outreach to your members. Secondly, as you may have seen, we have a new logo, and I think it's a great improvement on the galactic yellow thing that we used to have, by far. And We've gotten a lot of compliments on it from you and from people we don't know. We look official, we look adult, and fresh and moving and colorful in the red, white, and blue that suggests our bipartisanship or nonpartisanship. It's a stacked set of words, unlike that endless stream that used to dance across our letterhead, and that is also to help you. Many, because you are World Affairs Councils of, can easily adopt this logo as your own. You could put in place of America your council geography in red or blue, whatever you like, but most of all, if you're World Denver, or if you're the Columbus Council on World Affairs where this is not going to happen for you, we retain the love for diversity. Nevertheless, please put this logo on your site. You're affiliated with us. It's access to leaders. This should be something that strengthens your membership by their members knowing that you belong to us. So I encourage adoption, and please get rid of that old galactic thing. Thank you very much. Patrick Tarian and Zhao Yin are next. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Charles.